Delegate Bill DeSteph, who is running for State Senate District 8. This is for the seat of the retiring Jeff McWaters, and we have made a prediction in this race. All of our predictions coming out this afternoon in my column. I have a 99% accuracy level. My predictions notorious, not only in Virginia, but globally. We're predicting DeSteph winning by 19. Delegate DeSteph, soon to be Senator-elect DeSteph, good to have you with us.
Great being here, John. It's a gorgeous day in Virginia Beach. Got a little liquid sunshine going on, but what a gorgeous day anyway.
I have never seen anybody in my life, and I've been covering this stuff, Bill, for a long time. I've never seen anybody work so hard for a state Senate seat. You're working 18 or 19 hours a day, 7 days a week. You've done that for about 6 months straight. You've knocked on thousands of doors, met with thousands of people. You're nonstop. You're taking nothing for granted. I've got you 19 up. You're running like you're 20 down. I bet you're waiting for tomorrow to be over, right?
I'm looking forward to tomorrow for two reasons. One, we get to see the results of our hard work. Two, this is the one day that I arrive at the polls around 5:30, 5:45, and I stay there all day long. I don't leave my poll, my precinct, until it closes. And frankly, it's the one opportunity I personally get to get in front of thousands of voters and listen to what their concerns are. Or if they don't have any concerns, then just handing them my business card and say, hey, if you ever need anything, give me a call.
I tell you, that's really the way to do it. That's, old school retail campaigning. Delegate DeSteph, you've certainly done that. Now, this is a little bit bigger. You're running for state senate. It's not when you ran for the House where you had better control over the number of people there. The district was such that you could knock on the majority of those doors, talk them into the majority. That's tougher to do in a big Senate district like the 8th. How has this campaign been different?
Well, to be honest with you, it's been the same as every campaign I've ever run. 100% positive all the time. We don't do or say anything negative. Heck, I never even mentioned an opponent's name, never have. And frankly, I think that's the way you win. You keep it positive, you keep it focused. Here's what I've done, here's what I'm going to do. Constituent services means a lot, especially in our environment today where so many people need help on so many different levels. And, local, state, or federal, when you call one person and they can guide you to the right direction, it means the world to folks.
It does. And to have that personal contact with a prospective state senator to have a name and a face and a handshake and a card and a phone number that says basically call me with whatever you need. I'm going to be there. I mean, that's what constituent service was meant to be. Not everybody is able to provide that, or they just don't have the energy, quite frankly. I've got a question here submitted via text from Jim in Virginia Beach. He says, please ask Delegate DeSteph why we should allow the Virginia Beach Mosque to be built. Do you have any comment on that, Bill?
Well, that's I guess that's already that vote's happened 2 years ago, I believe, almost
right.
3 years ago, and City Council voted 11-1 to build it. And frankly, as I always say, we have extremists in every organization, every issue on one side or the other. And frankly, we've got to monitor them and, make sure when they take action, we take the appropriate action as well. But that vote was over 2.5 years ago, I believe. And Virginia Beach City Council voted to do it 11-1.
All the people that you've talked to, Bill, and you've knocked on so many doors, and it's always interesting when you go into people's homes because they invite you into their living room or their kitchen. You sit there at the kitchen table or the coffee table. What's been the number one or two things that people are saying that's really bugging them that's on their minds?
Well, this year, and again, it's more of a local issue, a lot of folks want light rail to go back to referendum or they don't want light rail at all. Again, this isn't a state-level issue. This is a local city council issue. At the state level, the big thing, though, is transportation. A lot of folks want transportation, and it's truly the same thing it's been the last 3 elections. elections. It's been jobs in the economy. So how do we focus on that? That's pretty easy. Lower taxes, less regulation, less litigation, creating an environment for our businesses and families to thrive. But the biggest issue out there is jobs in the economy. People want to make sure they have a not just a place for their kids to work and their grandkids to work, but a place where they've got a job or a fallback job if something were to happen. We've got to continue working on economic development. We've got to continue creating jobs. We've got to create, and government doesn't create jobs. Government creates an environment for our businesses to create jobs. So we've got to be very business friendly as we create this environment so our businesses locally can create additional jobs.
What is
the way we did that? There's a great example. Steel Incorporated, when we eliminated the machinery and tools tax, Steel expanded a factory here instead of expanding a factory in China. Mm-hmm. Every chainsaw bar that's made in the world is made in Virginia Beach. When we put in the London Bridge off-ramp or on-ramp, off and on-ramp, that's provided Steel Incorporated a quicker way to the expressway, not just them, but a lot of other businesses in that corridor, quicker way to the freeway to get their wares to market and to get their shipments out. When you do things like that, that creates an environment for our businesses to thrive. We've got to continue to do that. Small businesses are another economic engine, and we've got to continue to create an environment for our small businesses to thrive. You do that primarily with less litigation and less taxation. We want to make sure we don't choke them out. And I can tell you that in the House of Delegates for the last 2 years, I've made it my personal mission to ensure that anything that would go down that path of choking out one of our small businesses, and I use the term choking them out, because when you take a tax that's $40 and you increase it to $400, that's huge. That's something that would choke out a business. And we have things like that come up frequently in the General Assembly.
So if we get a Senator DeSteph from the 8th District, is there a specific business or pro-jobs policy or agenda item that you're going to put your name on, Bill?
Well, just about, and it's not any specific one, and it's not just the bills we push forward, it's the bills we stop from moving forward. Those tax increases, those regulations that would choke out a small business or a large business, adding additional regulations or adding additional fees and costs to those large businesses. It's stopping those. So it's not just the bills you pass, it's the bills that you stop from passing to over-regulate or push down these businesses or our families for that matter. So it's not one specific thing, it's a holistic approach.
So let's get to the other issue, the elephant in the room. Somehow Terry McAuliffe has interjected tolls into this campaign. God knows why. It's not benefiting the Democrats at all. But when you're in Southeast Virginia and you think about tolls, you go right to this Midtown Tunnel and this disaster we've got with the Elizabeth Crossing Company. I mean, the deeper you get into this thing, Delegate DeSteph, the worse it is, and there appears to be no way out for Southeast Virginia. This thing just goes on in perpetuity. I know it's one of the issues you've got to look at, provided you get in there, and we think you will. Can we do anything?
I'll be honest with you. That's one of the Elizabeth River tolls. That's one issue I've not dug into. I don't sit on transportation, and that vote was before I was ever in the House.
Right.
So I've not dug into the details of it. When I say that, I mean, I've not read the thousands of pages of negotiations and documents and who did what to who and why we're in the position we are, what remedies we have. I've not gone that far into it. So really, without being able to go into those level of details, I don't want to comment on it, but I will tell you that transportation and infrastructure is a core role of state government. Mm-hmm. We've got to do better with roads. We've got to ensure we continue expanding our roads. It's our core role of state government, transportation, education. So with that said, we are going to put a lot more effort into this in the next few years. We've done a lot in the last 2 years that I've been up in the General Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, the General Assembly put under Governor McDonald a transportation plan into place. So I'm just telling you that it's on the right direction. It's going to continue to go the right direction. We've got to make sure we continue focusing on it. But it is truly a core role of state government, transportation.
It is, and one of the misnomers out there, and I just want to make my audience understand this, and truth and disclosure, I was about one of the only conservatives in media that was 100% behind the 2013 transportation compromise, but really, truly, one of the untold stories of this is that only really accounted for about 20% of what we need in transportation in Virginia. It was about a fifth of what we need, and it got sold to people as the be-all, end-all that this would solve it. And it was really only a down payment. People don't realize, Delegate DeSteph, how the transportation infrastructure in Virginia for 5 decades has been allowed to crumble. And so we're a long way from getting any of this stuff done. We're going to have to find other means in order to do that, right?
That's correct. And I'll be honest with you, John, when you ignore a problem for 40 or 50 years, you can't fix it in 2 or 3.
Right.
It takes a while to get that fixed.
Right. And
that is one thing we've got to focus on and continue to focus on.
You're right.
So I'm hoping that we can continue down that path. Federal government dollars for highways has really shrunk drastically. And part of the reason for that is, we're expanding what we're doing on other entitlement-type programs. And when you expand your entitlement-type program, you've got to look at... Hold on one second, John. So when you expand your entitlement programs, that money has to come from somewhere. So that's what a lot of folks don't understand, John. That's what a lot of people don't understand is as you expand entitlement programs, the money's got to come from education, police, transportation. It's got to come from somewhere.
Absolutely. It just can't come out of thin air. It's got to come from somewhere. But until we fix these roads in Virginia, especially in Southeast Virginia, economically, we're going to continue to be burdened with it. I mean, it just, if you try to get anywhere now from Virginia Beach up through the peninsula to Williamsburg, I mean, it's a complete mess. I was going home. I drove home Friday afternoon. I left Northern Virginia at 2 p.m. I got home to my home in Great Bridge at 8 o'clock. I mean, it took me 6 hours. It's just, and it's not like I left in the teeth of Northern Virginia traffic. I took off at exactly 1:55. I got home at 8:05, and I stopped once.
And that's a commute that should take you 3 hours.
3 hours. That's it. And it took me over 6 hours, and I stopped for 10 minutes for gas once. That's it. Just a nightmare. We're out of time. I know you've got things to do. We're going to talk to you, Delegate DeSteph, tomorrow night. We're going to be live at the Doubletree Hotel on the ocean front. Our special election edition, 6 p.m. to midnight. Myself, my co-host, Mike Watson, and our analyst, Dr. Tanya Arney. Hey, Bill, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow.
Have a wonderful day.
We've got you up by 19.